Twist in the Hindenburg versus Adani tale. Now, Hindenburg is a US-based short seller. Hindenburg Research in January 2023 had released a report where it alleged that the Adani group was carrying out the largest con in corporate history. Cut to August 2024, the same Hindenburg has released yet another report where it says, despite all the evidence, market regulator, Securities and Exchange Board of India has taken no public action against the Adani group. Hindenburg doesn't stop at that. In fact, it says that no action is being taken against Adani group because, as Hindenburg alleges, SEBI chairperson Madhabi Puri Buch and her husband Dhaval Buch have had investments in the same offshore investment funds that the Adanis had used to siphon money. Now, that is the allegation number one that Hindenburg has made. The second allegation that Hindenburg has made is that Dhaval Buch was appointed as an advisor by Blackstone. At that time, Madhabi Puri Buch was an official with SEBI, and after that, two of real estate investment trusts of Blackstone were approved by the markets regulator to go public. Hindenburg goes on to allege that since Madhabi Puri Buch became chairperson of SEBI, the regulator has come out with several regulations related to real estate investment trusts, and these have benefited just one entity, and that is Blackstone. The third major allegation that Hindenburg has made against Madhabi Puri Buch is that she had set up two advisory firms, one in Singapore, one in India, and despite being appointed at SEBI, she had continued to hold a 99% stake in the Indian advisory. Now, these are huge allegations that Hindenburg has made against the chairperson of Securities and Exchange Board of India. Both Madhabi Puri Buch and Dhaval Buch came out with point-by-point disclosures against the allegations made by Hindenburg. Now, let's just look at the first allegation that it made was about the investments that Madhabi Puri Buch and Dhaval Buch had made in this particular fund. Now, this particular fund that is being referred to is the IPE Plus Fund 1. At its peak, the AUM of this fund was $48 million, and 90% of the fund was constantly invested in bonds, according to 361, or formerly IIFL Wealth Management. Now, the fund house has said that both Madhabi and Dhaval had investments which were less than 1.5% of the total inflows into this fund. Madhabi and Dhaval Buch too have clarified about the investments that they had made in this funds, which was in 2015. They say they were based out of Singapore at that point in time, and the investments were made because the chief investment officer of the fund at that point was Dhaval's childhood friend. And when the chief investment officer left his position, the investments were redeemed. Now, about the second allegation that Hindenburg has made with respect to REITs, now Madhabi Puri Buch has clarified that Dhaval was appointed by Blackstone Private Equity because of his previous experience at Unilever, where he had expertise in supply chain management, and he was appointed by Blackstone based on that experience. The third allegation that Hindenburg made was about how Madhabi Puri Buch had set up two advisory firms, and she continued to hold a 99% stake in the one that was in India. Now, Madhabi Puri Buch has said that all regulatory disclosures regarding these have been made to Securities and Exchange Board of India from time to time. In fact, she says once she was appointed at SEBI, both of them became dormant. Also, when the shareholding in the Singapore advisory firm was transferred by Madhabi to her husband Dhaval, she says regulatory disclosures were made not just to SEBI but also to the authorities back in Singapore. Now, we spoke to corporate governance experts on how and what kind of impact this whole Hindenburg's allegations will have. One key thing that corporate governance experts say is that Hindenburg hasn't been able to pinpoint exactly what the conflict of interest was. For instance, they say the allegation that Hindenburg has made about the investments Madhabi and Dhaval had in the funds, they were made well before Madhabi became a part of SEBI. Again, what Sriram Subramaniam of Hindenburg Research says that Madhabi Puri Buch has not gained anything from being an investor in the IPE Plus fund, Her shareholdings in the Indian and Singapore consultancy firms are fairly straightforward, and on an ongoing basis, SEBI officials, including whole-time members and the chairperson, have to internally disclose their personal investments and commercial interests. Now, SEBI also came out with its statement on Sunday, where it said that all relevant disclosures were made by Madhabi Puri Buch from time to time, and she had recused herself from anything related to Blackstone. Now, a conflict of interest is something where there is gain made by individual from being in a position of power. Subramaniam says the Hindenburg report doesn't show any gain made by Chairperson Buch. So now obviously this is an evolving story. After Hindenburg released its latest report, both Madhabi Puri Buch and Dhaval Buch came out with their disclosures. Since then, Hindenburg has hit back again with responding to this disclosure, saying that there is more questions and more issues related to conflict of interest. Now, whether Madhabi Puri Buch and Dhaval Buch will further respond to that, will we get more disclosures from them in the coming days, whether we will get more evidence or more report from Hindenburg, is something that will have to be seen. Now, opposition political parties in India have long been demanding that this whole investigation against the Adani group should be given to a separate entity. Now, after Hindenburg released its latest report, there is a growing voice from the opposition political parties that there should be a joint parliamentary committee that should be set up to probe everything. Now, remember, the whole initial report that Hindenburg has released was about the Adani group and the various means that the Adani group had allegedly used to siphon off money and inflate the share prices. That was the report which Hindenburg had released in January 2023. Now, SEBI has said that out of the 24 investigations being done with respect to the Adani group, it has completed investigations in 23, and the last one is also under progress and is close to completion. It says thousands of emails have been sent and responses sought from various individuals and entities. So we will also have to see what happens in that investigation, what report the SEBI eventually comes out with. So we will have to see how these things pan out. As I said, this is an evolving story and something that will have to be watched out for in coming days.